Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show, where this week we are ecstatic to have Coach John Buckley, offensive coordinator at Camp Verde High School, also been a longtime offensive coordinator in Southern California, extremely successful among other stops, always has high-powered offenses, also is the owner and operator of the Black Flag Quarterback Academy, so he's given high-class, high-quality training to young guys everywhere, and really a knowledgeable guy. Every time I've chatted football with him, I have certainly enjoyed it and been a better coach as a result of it. So we're really excited to have him on this week, and we're going to chop it up with him, ask some questions, and he's going to be kind enough to share some film and go through some things with us as well. So super excited about that. But before we get going, I just want to remind everybody that the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is sponsored by SchoolFunder.org. SchoolFunder, the only online fundraising company in America that lets you keep all of the profits that your team earns, minus a very small 3% processing fee. Sound too good to be true? I thought so as well, but I can be the first to tell you that that is not correct, because we ran a lift-a-thon and made $12,000 in a very short period of time. And minus everything but that 3% processing fee, we were able to keep it all. So, I would encourage all you coaches out there to go to schoolfunder.org. That's SchoolFundr.org. And when you do that, please tell them that the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you, as it will help our show and get all that stuff going. So we're going to get right into the topic, but before, I just wanted to mention, good weekend here over in Prescott. We got a snow day Friday, so that's always exciting. Got to stay home Friday, and that was super cool. Also got to attend the Scholar Athlete National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete Luncheon, where the Badgers were super excited to have 3 Badgers, Garrison Gray, Uriah Tennett, honored at that. Almost, we should have probably maybe had 3. We had another young man that extremely high grades, very accomplished in multiple sports, that was right there on the cusp of that as well. So that's always a fun deal, and I always enjoy getting the opportunity to celebrate our young people that are doing good things both on the field and in the classroom and the community as well. So that's a exciting time as a coach. So we are excited, like I said, to be talking to Coach Buckley, and I am really looking forward to this. I've been always look forward to chatting with our coaches, but definitely been really looking forward to this one, because I think we're going to get a ton of great offensive information for everybody out there. And you defensive guys, be patient, because we will. We're going to be getting to defensive systems here in a here in a few, probably, I'm thinking maybe April-ish. So if you're waiting for those defensive systems, they are coming, and we're going to talk a ton about that as well. But we're going to jump right into the topic at hand, Coach Buckley. And first question I always like to ask our coaches is, do you fit your offensive system to your personnel, or do you adapt it based on different things within your system? How do you go about, you've had success at multiple different stops. As we know, high school guys, you don't always get a pick. You don't get a pick who your kids are. So how do you go about adapting your system to your personnel, and what do you think about it gives you an advantage?
Well, I think that you have to have a system that can fit different personnel. I don't think you change your system based on what you have. Your system has to have a base to fit anything, right? You have to be able to adjust if you have a tight end, like a traditional hand on the ground tight end. Am I a 4 wide guy? Do I have 2 backs? You have to have answers for everything within your system, to where it doesn't really matter. You don't change. I kind of stole this from Nzone, but it's like, you don't change the play, you change the presentation. And so, can I run this same play out of a 2 back personnel, or a hand on the ground tight end, or a 4 wide? You have to have a system that fits the personnel, if that makes sense. I think a lot of people try and change their system based on what they have, but I think, based on what your question is, you make your kids fit the system, if that makes sense. You have to have a system that fits whatever you're presented.
As you've gone through your different stops, Coach, how have you adapted and adjusted to that, and what are some things that you learned to help in that process along the way?
I've learned to keep things very simple. Like you have your base system, like your base run plays, your base quick game, your base dropbacks, your RPOs, and then adjust that into what you have. So, do I have a hand in the ground tight end? Do I have two of them? We would all like to have that, right? We'd all like to have the big hand in the ground tight ends like Michigan has, right? Use them as fullbacks, use them as tight ends. In high school, we really don't, especially where I'm coaching mostly like in small schools. We don't have that body type. We don't have that type of personnel. We have more of the four wide stuff, but can we make a guy kind of a hybrid, right? Like we call him like our Y guy is a hybrid guy. He could be a nub, he could be a tight end, he could be a fullback, could be a four wide Y guy. But what I've learned is to have a system that no matter what personnel you have, the rules don't change. We can change the formation, we can change the presentation, the motions, all that stuff, but the system never changes because it's a good system and it will work with whatever personnel you have. So you have the same run plays in a two back look or an 11 personnel or 10 personnel. And you have to have the same system and you have to be able to adapt with what you are given, especially at the small school where I'm at now, because you never know from year to year what you have. Now, I coached at a big school in San Diego. We had it all. We could have anything we wanted. We want two tight ends. We want two fullbacks. We could have had it. We had everything. We had 100 kids, on the varsity program. And then coming back to Arizona, actually where I started, and with small schools, you don't have that luxury, right? You got 30, 40 kids. And how do you keep the system consistent, right? So it's the same year after year after year. Give it to the youth program, let them run it. And how does that fit whatever personnel you have? So to me, going back to your question, it's a long way around, right? Is I've learned that you have to have a system that's consistent no matter what you are presented in personnel wise.
Well, Coach, one of the things that I've always noticed about your quarterbacks is they process information very, very quickly. Always seem to know where to go with the football, regardless of blitz or defensive alignment and different things. And I know as a guy that does enjoy bringing pressure, that can be really frustrating. And you've always seemed to do a really, really good job with that. What are maybe some or ways that you utilize that your quarterback's able to process that information quickly in terms of how you drill that in your quarterback academy work and how you drill it with your team?
We started from day one like that. We live in chaos. We want that. We thrive in that, right? We start from day one where it's like you have to process stuff really quick. And it's simple. It's not easy. I say that all the time. Like everything is simple, but not easy. But we start from day one, you process in chaos, you process quickly. And we keep things simple so you have to think about less things. We've taken a guy that just this last year, he'd never thrown a touchdown pass in his quarterback life. And he played quarterback a long time. He's been in like a wing T type system, a flex bone, handing the ball off. But he had some skill, right? We brought him in and he threw 34 touchdown passes this year. It was like the third most in school history. Like it's crazy, right? The kid has never thrown the ball. But when you start from day one, and this is what Black Flag is about too. Like we thrive in chaos. We've got music playing. There's yelling. Like we're very high energy. There's nothing about like everybody can stand in a pocket and make a good throw and talk about throwing mechanics from a perfect situation, right? But that's not what we do. We do that. We work on that, but we work so much on working in chaos and working in like split second decisions. I got to throw now. What is your read right off the bat? Can you get the ball out now? If I can't, now I've got to reset and get other options. But it's always about on the snap, what am I looking at? Where are my eyes? So I can make that split second decision right off the bat to make something happen quick.
Coach, when you're going through that process, so the quarterback you just um, told us about, that's so fascinating to me that nothing and then 34, boom, out of nowhere. So when you're
Right.
working with these different guys, how do you set different goals that are realistic, but also, they'll take them to heights of great success?
I think we don't even talk about it. We don't talk about goals and we don't talk about stats. I mean, it's fun for us coaches to talk about it, right? We love it. I love it. I like that's what that motivates me as a coach. But to him, I don't talk about stats. And it kind of got with him, like it kind of got to him because it's like he was thinking about how many touchdown passes and like I don't care. I don't care. I want you to throw 100 touchdown passes in a game if you can. I don't want you to keep track. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We want to score touchdowns. All about touchdowns. Running, passing, doesn't matter. Our entire goal in our offense is to score points, right? And so it's like it doesn't matter how it comes. If I call a run play on a 3rd and long, there's a reason why. If I call a pass play in the goal line, it's a reason why. Because I do the research and we know the defense, right? So it doesn't matter. Ultimately, I just want us to score points. And so that's, I think, what I teach them from the beginning is like, we want to score touchdowns. Touchdowns are good. As many as we can get, we want them. Anytime we can take them, however it comes.
Coach, how do you go about establishing vertical alignment in your program from your youth level? Talked about that. I know we talked about that with Coach G a few weeks ago. The fact that you guys have been able to get that ingrained in your youth is really, really impressive. But how do you go about establishing that vertical alignment? Did they get part of the offense and then you slowly build on it? Or how do you go about doing that?
Well, it's been a challenge here because that's never been done. Like we're talking about Camp Verde High School. Everything has kind of been a separate youth high school program. It's not been a vertical alignment at all. I came from a program back in Southern California where I would go coach the varsity. I was the varsity offensive coordinator, this big school in San Diego County. I would get done there and I would go coach the middle school team at night. Right. So we ran the same thing, the same terminology. Like it was built in. Like I coached varsity and I coached youth. And here it's hard because number one, it's hard to get coaches here, especially in a small school, especially when you don't have a lot of money to pay coaches, right? And so it's hard. But we've started, at least in the last couple of years here, we've got some great coaches that came up in the youth level with the Coyotes, the Camp Verde Coyotes here in this area. They've won championships, so they had a great base coaching knowledge, right? And so we just give them everything. Like we came in the first year and I did a coaching clinic with the youth coaches and I said, here's everything. I gave them like a whole day clinic. Here's my entire offense. Take what you want out of it, take pieces of it. But I said, I asked if you run what we want, then call it what we want. You know what I mean? Like, don't call it 24. Don't call it 24. Call it Zorro, right? Like we have names for our plays. Like use our terminology because it's only going to help your kids as we come up. And some have bought in, and some haven't. And like we get pieces and parts of it, and we take what we can get, and we're thankful for these guys. But they're not with us every day, so it's hard to like get the full thing. But it's like piece by piece, we're trying to get it working its way down. Like we've taken on one coach that worked his way up to the 8th grade. He's now on the varsity staff. And now we've got our JV coach is also the 8th grade coach. And so we're trying to like filter coaches up the same way. And so we teach down and then it works its way up and we get this whole filter and funnel of coaches. It helps our high school program ultimately, right? Because we're hurting for coaches always. And then it helps the kids as they're coming up and they're learning terminology and they're learning the offense and the defense and everything that we do. And so we're trying to establish that, but this is like a new thing, especially in Camp Verde. This has never been a thing. They've never had a vertical system, as you're saying, and especially that you get in the big cities. So we're trying to bring the big city to the small country. So I don't know.
Love it.
Have you seen the community respond to that in terms of, are you having former players who want to come out and be a part of that? Um,
The community in Camp Verde has loved this. Like the day one we came in this, like me and Aaron, you had Aaron on a couple weeks ago, the head coach Aaron Gronwall, and we came in together and we like what the product we brought out, like the town loves it. Like the stands are packed. It's like they were just like they were begging for something like this, something to buy into. And I think a lot of it is just having a system and believing in it. And I think, and I'm biased, right? But I think like what we do offensively is like it brings people in to watch because it's fun to watch. It's like basketball on the football court, right? We're fast break. We want to go. Like it's fast. We're throwing the ball. It's exciting. And I think that helps. I think it helps bring kids in. I think it helps bring parents in. And, you know, they don't, like a basketball kid, for example, doesn't want to come in and block. He wants to be outside. He wants to catch the vertical routes. Like, and the parents don't want their kid blocking. They want to catch touchdowns, right? So, like, the community just, I think, was just begging for something that we brought, and it's been fun. It's been a really fun 3 years, and I think it's like we're just starting. We're just taking off on this thing.
Great stuff.
Coach, walk me through a typical install schedule. I know there's some. I personally try to get most of our stuff in 3 days. This answer from coaches has really been all over. It's been fascinating me. We've had coaches from anywhere
Yeah.
5 to 10 to 20 to whatever in terms of how they implement their system. So walk us through an install, both from like a fall camp perspective and also a typical game week.
So, man, I would love to put everything in 3 days. That's the air raid that I'm an air raid guy. Like I grew up in air raid, Mike Leach, Tony Franklin. I would love to have a 3 day install. I can't do it. I have not found a way to put in everything I want to do in 3 days. So I have basically a 10 day schedule because I also like, I take everything into consideration, right? The run game, pass game, not only pass game, quick drop back, RPOs, right? Screens. I have to put all this thing in. So for me, 10 days is like the money area. Now I would love to do it in 3. I just can't. Maybe because I have a little more plays. I do some things a little bit different than the traditional air raid, but I have a traditional 10-day schedule and I can go through that in spring, right? And then we come back and we do it again in fall. And then by the time we're ready to go week 1, we have the entire offense in. We're not great at everything, right? But everything's in. By the time week 1 hits, everything's in and we're rolling. And then we start adding and cutting from there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, Coach.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've seen some guys, and I used to implement this a little bit like on Monday of a game week, we ran power and counter. And on Tuesday, we ran outside zone and G or what have you. And there was one concept for each day. So you had a small number of concepts working each day as you prepared for Friday. Do you do something similar, or how do you guys go about that in a game week?
So we do it basically game planning wise. So Mondays, we do a lot of film. We give them Saturday and Sunday off. We give the weekends off because a lot of our kids in this town, they work on the weekends. Like they work on farms, they work on the ranches. We're not going to get them in on the weekend. We're lucky to have them every day during the week. So we give them the weekend off. We come in Monday. We're breaking down film from the week before. We're talking about game planning. The coaches are working on a weekend, so we got a game plan ready to go by Monday. And then if there's anything special or something crazy we want to get on the field and walk through, we'll do that. But typically, Monday is not a field day for us. It's a film day for us. Then we get it on Tuesday. So Tuesday offensively for me, I'm looking at my open field script. So I do it by open field, red zone, coming out, and my situations. That's how I try and break everything up. So Tuesdays is typically my open field and my red zone. So everything that I'm working in my game plan that I want open field and red zone, I'm working on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'm working like my coming out, and I'm working situationals, right? Like my third downs, my fourth downs. And that's kind of how I break up my week. And then Thursday, Thursday, I work mostly like our script because I script out the first 12 plays. We're going through that. It's because we're really only getting really 3 days with these guys because we're giving them Saturday, Sunday off. Monday, we come in, we do film. If we want to walk through something special or something crazy about this offense or defense that we're seeing, we'll go out on the field and we'll walk through. It's like a walkthrough. We really got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with these guys. Tuesday, Wednesday, we go real hard. We go full. Like we are in full pads. We are full contact. We are going to the ground hard. Thursday's mostly special teams. We're half pads. So for Tuesday, offensively, I work open field and red zone. Wednesday, I work coming out. So we're never uncomfortable being on our own 2-yard line because we work it every week. We work a script every week and we're going full go, full hard on blitz, full tackle. We're going. And situationals, which is usually like third or fourth down situations. And I'll put different situations together based on the game plan. And that's how I do it. Different from when I did it at a big school, right? Because different at the big school, I had offense Monday through Thursday. At the small school I'm at now, all of our offensive players are defensive players too. Like we have there's maybe like 3 guys that aren't two-way starters, right? So we have to split Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays between the offense and defense because we're not a 2-platoon guy. We just can't do it. We only got 30 kids on our program. So it's been an adaptation. When I was at a big school, I could break it down by field zone each day. And I could do a lot of 7-on-7. I could do a lot of different situations. Here I got to break it up by coming out, open field, and red zone. And then develop a game plan through the week, and then we roll with it on Friday.
Coach, have you found that being at a school like Camp Verde where there's a different schedule and just different, I don't know if limitations is the right word, but I mentioned only having 30 kids. Have you found that's pushed you to grow and become a better coach? Because I know moving back to Prescott for me, we are efficient and we're on a time crunch all the time. And that's self-imposed, but last year it really pushed me to, develop and become better for myself. So how's that affected you?
100%. 100%. I think it's made me more efficient because I have to fit more into a small period. And you have to determine what's the most important thing to focus on, right? Is it my third down this week? Is it my red zone, right? You have to have a focus. You have short periods of time. And I think maybe I took that for granted at a big school. Like we went through the schedule and it was just kind of a monotonous thing. And I'm not about negative monotonous. Like I feel like you have to be comfortable doing the same things over and over again. That's an air raid mentality, right? Like don't get bored with the basics because that's what we're going to do. But it's almost like dial that up. Like you can't get bored with the basics. We're going to do the same thing on Tuesday and the same thing on Wednesday and the same on Thursday every week. Right? Because I got a smaller period of time. So it's a big adjustment. I think it's made me better. Like I feel like I could take this system to a bigger school or to a college. And if I can take the same mentality and get extra days out of it, like it's made me way better.
I always become a big believer in that minimalist philosophy, trying to get things done in as efficiently and as short a time as possible. Leads in perfectly to our next question. How many concepts do you believe in carrying? Both you've talked about quick game, run game, drop back, quick game, play action, screens, all that type of stuff.
Like your traditional air raid thinking, right? I always go back to that. Like that's my background is like the 5 rule, right? The 5 quick games, the 5 drop backs, the 5 runs. I don't put a number on it. Like, run game, we run inside zone, outside zone, counter, power. So what's that 4? Maybe want to draw in there 5, depending on the year, right? Then we run maybe, I probably stick to around the 5-5-5 rule, but I'm not hard on that. You know what I mean? If we got a better run concept this year than we did last year, maybe we got another run, or we got a better drop back passer, we got another drop back pass. So I really never put numbers on it. But if we're not good at something, I realize that real quick, I get rid of it. Like we're done. Like I've had a couple quarterbacks, and one of our best quarterbacks I've ever had is our All-American quarterback. Mesh was not his play. He couldn't run mesh. I mean, he couldn't run. Not that he couldn't run it. He didn't like it. Was not comfortable in doing it, and so we got rid of it. And like this year, there might be another concept. This kid's not good at it, and we've tried it for several weeks. Get rid of it. Cut it out. And if we put another thing in, so be it. If not, that's okay too. So I don't put a number on it because I'm always looking for something to tweak too. Like, can we put an RPO off of something? Can we put an RPO off of this run look? Or can we change this quick game to another kind of look? Like tags, different tags and things like that. So I don't put numbers on it because I might have like our snag concept we might talk about earlier. I got several different tags off of that. So some coaches might call that 2 or 3 different plays. To me, it's not. It's just a tag. It's still one play.
Concept, yeah.
Right. So you might have multiple tags off different plays. So, if you start drawing it out, it looks like a lot of plays. But really, I try and keep things simple. I try and not overload kids with too much stuff. And if something's not working, I cut it out. And if there's something I want to put in that's better, let's find another thing to cut out that's not working. So we're not overloading them.
That goes to my next question for you, which is when you're in season, how do you balance new additions or adjustments with obviously your install, but then also everything you have already set in stone?
Sure. We don't do a lot of adjusting in season. Like once we're rolling, we're doing the same things. We might have a different tag that goes with a play. We might have a different look that works against that defense that we've already done. I don't add a lot of things as we're going on. If anything, I'm cutting things out. If this is not working, let's stop running it. And I think it's a big problem with a lot of coaches. Like, you have a good play, keep freaking running it, right? Like, coaches kind of get away from running plays that are successful. And me too. I look back at a lot of things like, man, this play averaged like 20 yards a play. Maybe I should have called it more. And I think it's a common problem is just run your successful plays more and stop trying to add things. And so during the season, maybe I'll add a trick play. We always work in some kind of trick play, gadget play, something that's fun. But like as a base play, we're sticking with our base. And if anything, I'm cutting things. I'm not really adding things. I'm cutting stuff up that's not working.
Coach, I love it. Walk me through a typical film prep as you guys are working through the weekend, preparing for an opponent. How do you go about putting that together?
Man, it's really easy for us. Offensively, we're looking at the front. Are they even? Are they odd? Do they do both? That's cool. What are the situations that they're even or odd? It's a first down. It's a third down. Some people switch. I found in Arizona, maybe I shouldn't put this out there. I don't know. But like California, everything was disguised. Like defenses disguised coverages. They disguised fronts. Everything was not what it looks like. In Arizona, it's kind of like what you see is what you get. Like D coordinators here, like, we're going to give you this defense. This is our defense and beat us, which is kind of nice. I'm like, man, I mean, there was some really good defensive back talent in Southern California. Not to say there's not here, but like they could do some stuff there that was a little different. Here is kind of like we go front, blitzes, and coverages. That's what I'm looking at. What is their base front? Are they even or odd? Right? Are they a 3 front or are they a 4 front? What blitzes do they bring and what coverages do they run? And especially small school Arizona, you're getting like they're a cover 4 or they're a cover 2 or a cover 3 or a cover 1. Like, right, it's 1 high, 2 high. You're running your base 4 coverages. You're not getting a lot of split field coverages. You do get some pattern match stuff, which with some good D coordinators that do here. But really, that's the main things we're looking at. We're looking at what is their front, what blitzes do they bring, and then what are their main coverages, and when do they run those coverages? What are their tendencies?
Coach, what's your personal preference? Do you like attacking a defense schematically, or do you prefer to go off matchup based?
I prefer to get the ball in my best player's hands, however that is. How can I get my How can I get the ball into my best player's hands? So if it's matchup, if it's scheme, whatever, how do I call plays to get the ball into that guy's hands?
Sometimes you overcomplicate it. If you got a dude, let's get your dude the ball. If you got
Get your
multiple
dude the
dudes, you're
ball.
really in good shape. Coach,
Mhm.
I always think this one is a little bit fun. So humor me for a little bit. If in your offense you could only have only five concepts total, run
Mhm.
game, pass game, if you only could pick five, what would they be?
Oh man. Okay, I would go inside zone, outside zone, counter. Those are my three runs. Then I would probably go with like a snag concept, and then I go four verts.
Love it. Love it. Very succinct. Good answer there. Got that. Nailed that one. I really firmly believe you could build an entire offense and score a boatload of points on
Especially
just
the way
those
we run four
five
verts too. It's
concepts.
like it's all pattern matched and like snapping and like reading
Well,
coverages.
and four verts is such a tag friendly concept too. That's
Right.
one of the things I think a lot of people really like about it is you can very easily implement a lot of tags. I'm looking forward to seeing maybe how you convert routes and different things, because that's definitely something that I've struggled with developing the timing and establishing the rhythm between the quarterbacks and the receivers on that end, because I
Mm-hmm.
have found
Mm-hmm.
that to be extremely difficult. But we're going to let Coach right now share his film, and he's going to coach us up on a few things, and we will ask questions as we go here. And take it away, Coach.
So I got a few things dialed up. Like I'm a big screen guy. I love screens. Those are like kind of the equalizer to me. The first one I was kind of looking at showing you guys was our shallow screen. If you recall, I don't remember how many. It was a couple years ago. Was TCU played Alabama? I think it was in the national championship game. And Sonny
Georgia, I
Dykes.
believe.
That's what it was. Yeah, and Sonny Dykes ran a shallow screen. It was the only touchdown they scored in the whole game. Right? We love this shallow screen. I was going to maybe start with that. We run a double screen, which in the air raid terms is called surge, which is a great look. I can go over our snag concept, which in normal air raid terms is called Y corner, which we run a lot of stuff off of those three plays. So I don't know which one interests you the most that
Coach,
we start with.
you have all of them sound great. So you just go in order, and we'll get
Okay.
coached up on all of them. We're
Okay.
football nerds, and I'd love to hear about all of them.
Football is good, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
let's go to huddle here. Let me know if you see this.
We're seeing it. It's not quite
Everything
all the
good?
way up, but I think we're well on our way here. There we
Yep.
go.
Okay. We'll talk this is our surge screen in air raid terms. It's called surge. We call it something different, but you guys see the drawing okay here? You see my mouse and everything?
Sir,
Okay. So when we start teaching screens, okay, we run like a slow screen to the left and a slow screen to the right to the running back. Okay, so we might call that, say, Linda and Rose. Okay. So this blocking, the O line, looks like Linda. Okay. This is the slow screen blocking to the left. So if the back was here and he slow released here, we threw the back slow screen. Does that make sense to you guys here?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So the tackle here is going to invite the outside rush up the field. So he's going to set inside. He's going to try and run this end upfield, get him out of the play. Okay. Our guard, center, and guard, they're going to go 1,000, 1,002, punch and release. Okay. So we teach that from day one. We start teaching screens 1,000, 1,002, punch, release. They're kick, right? That's their 1,000, 1,002, kick, punch, hit the defensive lineman in the chest, and release. Okay. So the guard here, 1,000, 1,002, punch, release. He's going to work to the first defender in the alley. Okay. The center, 1,000, 1,002, he's going to punch and release to the sidewalk. I'm sorry, sidewalk, alley here. Sidewalk here, outside the numbers, alley here. The backside guard, 1,000, 1,002, punch, release. He's going to what we call rat kill. He's looking for anything that would be chasing the back. If nothing's chasing the back, then he's going to climb to the next backer. Okay, that's our basic. Oh, and I'm sorry, the backside tackle is going to do the same thing this tackle is. He's going to invite the outside rush and try and get this guy upfield. So that's our basic slow screen blocking to the left. We might call Linda or Lucy or whatever you want to call it, right? Now, so for Detroit, the O-line's going to get the Detroit or the double screen or the surge call or whatever you call. The only thing that changes for is the backside tackle, the right side tackle. We run this one direction. We don't run it both directions. We run it one way. Everybody else for the O-line, they know their Linda call or their left slow screen call, what I just told you. They're going to run that, okay? The right side tackle is going to leave the end. Immediately, he's going to go double the number 2 defender over the Y. So we're getting a double team right here. Z is going to go block this number 1 guy, probably the corner, unless for some reason the corner bails and the safety comes down. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And now to our left side, we're going to run our missile concept. So I'm kind of combining 2 screens here. I'm combining our missile screen, which we normally give our same, left or right call for our O-line screen, and a swing screen here. This is why we call it a double screen or surge screen. X receiver is going to take 3 steps forward, 1, 2, 3, and then he'll retrace his steps, and he's going to catch this thing on the run. 1, 2, 3, retrace, catch this thing on the run. If the ball comes to him, and try and get up inside these blocks. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So normally we call this a missile screen to this guy. We might call this, X missile or whatever. That's our normal thing. And they would run our normal thing. But now we've got a little double screen going on. So what is the quarterback looking at here? He's reading this end right here. Simple read, because we're just letting him go. What is this end going to do? Sometimes this end chases the back, right? Sometimes he's like, oh, I got a free rush to the quarterback. I'm just going to rush the quarterback, right? This is the 2 things he's kind of going to do, right? So what we want to do is we want to throw this swing screen. So if he does anything other than chase this back, throw the swing. Throw the swing because we're creating a numbers advantage over here, right? He stays. The backer's probably here. We got a double team here on the number 2 defender. We've got the corner. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on probably 2, right? Maybe 3 if the safety comes down. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So if this end does not widen, we've got the numbers here to throw the swing. So throw the swing. So the quarterback's dropping. His eyes are right here to the end. Read the end. If he doesn't widen, throw it. Throw it to the back. Now, they've seen this on film probably, right? And so now and we run a lot of back routes here too. We run a lot of back out routes. We don't keep them in a lot of times. Our backs will catch, 30, 40 passes a season. So now he sees the back release. Sometimes he's going to chase it. And a lot of times they do chase it. Now the quarterback's dropping. He's looking at the end as he widens. He's going to reset, and now he can throw the tunnel over here.
Coach, let me ask you, what's your quarterback's footwork look like on that?
So he's going 1, 2, 3, eyes to the end. Okay, 1, 2, 3, eyes to the end. Does he widen or does he stay? We lost our end. We lost our end. Does he widen or does he stay? If he widens, now he's going to reset. So he's going to 1, 2, 3, reset, throw the tunnel.
Love it. If we could, let's see some film on this guy.
Let's see it. I've got some good stuff on here.
Coach, what's your right guard? What's his 40 time got to be?
He doesn't even have to be good at all. He's just 1, 2, 3, punch, put 2 hands in his chest and release. Our guards. Our guards are probably like our worst linemen. I probably put our best linemen at tackles. I mean, to be honest, Mike, our best lineman is our center because he kind of directs this whole thing. He could probably play any of these positions. He's probably going to be a D1 guy that we have in there right now. But then I need my big tackles, and then I can make a guy be a guard, if that makes sense. I can make a guard out of pretty much anybody.
Well, Coach, already looking at your
Okay, so
cutups, I
here we
think
go.
just on this, you have more yards than I have ever coached in the screen game ever. So I'm excited to watch the film.
So it's 1st and 10. Okay, we're on the 15. We're running our surge screen here. Okay, here we go. The back's going to release. Now, see the end has come upfield? This guy right here, he's not chasing, right? He's releasing. We've got 1, 2, 3 on 1. Like, how nice is that matchup, right? We'll probably take that every time. Let's go ahead and dump that to the back. And we've got blocks downfield. And we got a touchdown. Nice, right? Okay, here we go. We've got another 3rd and 2. We're calling our double screen. This one goes for 46. I'm guessing we would probably throw the tunnel here. But let's see. Okay, so what did the end do? Here's our end. We watch our tackle try and release. See how the end is going out with him? So now our quarterback's going to reset, and he's going to look at the missile or the tunnel screen here. And look how many blockers we have here. We have all this releasing out here. Now, as long as he gets up inside these blocks and does what he does, right, as our outside guy, he's got to be a stud. Maybe sometimes we break a tackle, and we're gone. Kind of nice, right? That's a playoff game right there. For sure.
See that one play all the way out there, Coach?
Sure can. Here we go. We're looking at the back. He's guy widen. Let's throw the tunnel. We got linemen downfield. We're making blocks. This guy breaks a tackle. And he's out. It's all about creating a numbers advantage, right? Where's our number? And if we look at here where we throw this, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on 1, 2, 3. Maybe you count this guy, right? Maybe you count the guy as 4. So we've got the number. Deep. He's awful deep. And he never, as you see, he never gets into the play. So what the quarterback did a good job of here is he saw that this end man that we're looking at here, he widened because that's where his eyes are. As he drops, see his eyes are on this end. Is he widening with his back? And he is. So now he'll reset. He'll get big. We call it get big. We call this getting big. And throw the tunnel right on the nose. And we're looking real good right there.
That's good stuff, too.
And that's our normal, like, left side. What's that?
I said get an athlete the ball in space. Let him be. Really impressed with your big guys, too. I love their hustle. They're doing a great job getting out there, I think. That's not a really easy skill for linemen. I've been a line coach for a long time.
And remember, we talked about practice schedule, right? And so we do a team screens period every week also, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. There's a team screen period where we work this. From day one, we are working 1,000, 1,002 punch and release, and we're blocking in space. And we work an open field blocking drill. Every day that we work screens, we're working that. Because this is a big part of our game. We need these guys to block in space. And it's not easy for these guys to do that. And a lot of times they miss, like we're missing here because he didn't break down. And that's something we could talk about in film because he didn't get wide base, fast feet because he's standing too tall, right? But it comes back to the drill that we work every week. We talk about wide base, fast feet. We work our open field blocking drill. It all has to translate.
You guys do that team session, are you focusing on the defensive aspect as well, or is it exclusively offense?
I put the defense in whatever look we're going to get for that week. Say it's an odd front, I'm going to put them in that look. And I tell the defense, and this is really hard because I'm going to tell them, hey, we're running screens for the next 10 minutes. It's a screen. Don't be a jerk and cheat the drill, right? Like, try and sack the quarterback. Like, don't, it's a screen. It's coming. You know what I mean? So play in a normal defense. And you have to fight that all the time because the defense is like, it's our scout team guys. It's our backup guys. And that's hard. So it's very offensive focused. And I don't really want the defensive making plays unless it's like something out here and the guy is supposed to block you and you beat him. I want that. I want you to beat a block that's coming to you, but I don't want you to cheat the play, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Back it up. We got a 3rd and 7. Double screens the call. Oh, see, here's one. Let's show the good and the bad, right? So the quarterback's look should be right here at the end, right? Where'd the end do? He came in. So in film, I'm telling this guy, why are we not throwing to this guy? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on 3, right? We've got the numbers advantage. You know why he did it? Because we talked about getting the ball to our guys, right? So he turns, I don't know why he doesn't throw it, but he throws this tunnel screen back to this guy. We still got numbers over here. We got 1, 2, 3 on 1, 2, 3, 4. We still have a numbers advantage, so we're okay. I'm not going to be too mad at him, especially not if we're going to score a touchdown off of it, right?
This is what I would call.
So sometimes you got to let your
know your personnel.
That's right. Sometimes you let your quarterback make touchdown throws, right? And I give my quarterbacks a lot of ownership in the offense, and I don't get on them for the decisions or changing plays. I give them the freedom to change a lot of things. If I call a bad play, you're the one out there. Get me out of a bad play call. And so for whatever reason, our quarterback, he didn't like this matchup. And maybe not, because we're kind of even here, right? I know this is his read. We got good numbers over here, and shoot, it worked. It was a touchdown. So you can't be mad at him for that, right? All right, here's another one. We're going, it's 3rd and 5. We're at the -14. Let's look at our read. Okay, we're looking at this guy here. What does he do? Okay, he widens, right? So the quarterback sees that. Now he's going to reset. He's going to throw the tunnel. Got to have a guy to get up inside these blocks. And we pick up a first down. It's not bad, right?
At all. Not at all. I like first downs.
First downs are good. And this guy did a great job of like getting up inside those blocks. And sometimes you have to fight that with these receivers, right? They don't like getting up inside those. Here's like, sometimes we get real bad film at the 2A level, but sometimes you can get a good look here. So here we go. We'll run our surge screen. Outside man widens. See how he widens with him? And you see our quarterback's eyes here as he looks. He's looking at him. He sees him widen, so he's going to reset. Throw the tunnel. Get up inside your blocks. Sometimes you might do little special things because you're a special guy. And we got a little, I don't know, was this a 26-yard gain? And tell me you wouldn't take a play gives you 26 yards.
Absolutely.
Throwing a 1-yard pass or a -1 yard pass, right?
It doesn't hurt.
Let's get one more look at it. Okay, here's like very simplest version, right? This is how we want like every double screen to go. It's 3rd and 8. Okay, here we go. He surges in, right? Throw it to the back and let him go work. Like get outside the guys and go run. Like that's really the base design of the play. Can we throw it to the back out here and get numbers and go pick up a 20-yard gain on a swing screen? How nice is that?
Well,
and then of course
30 to 40 completions to your running back that's certainly an impressive number.
I mean, most people don't think about throwing the ball to the back, right? And why? Why not? It's another receiver for you. Like, take advantage of most defenses don't account for him coming out of the backfield. And then when they do, when they start widening and taking away that, then you opens up something like this for you. And you split the defense, get inside your blocks. I mean, it's just a great play to me overall. Here again, he probably could have thrown the back. But look at the numbers we have over here. Like, you can't beat that. And that's your guy, right? That's your X receiver, your guy you want the ball in his hands. But maybe we got one more here. Oh, that's one we started on. So that's our double screen. That's our surge screen. How are we on time? Like, I don't know. What would you like to see next? I got that shallow screen we talked about that TCU ran.
Let's go shallow screen, then snag. We're good on time.
Okay,
Coach.
let's do it. Okay. So let's go back to our installs. We'll go back to screens. And let's talk shallow screen here. Okay, this one's like, to me, the cheapest play you could put in. It costs about 5 minutes of teaching time. And it's so good. It's so good. So here's what I tell the O-line. You hear the call, so we might call it this. We call it other things too. But this, we call it the shallow screen, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it Badger. So we call it Badger. All the O-line knows is backpedal. They hear the Badger call, they're just going to backpedal like DBs. What does the D-line do? They're going to chase, right? They're going to chase. Whoever we call the Badger screen to, could be the X, could be the H, could be the Y, could be this, could be anybody. In this example, this is X. This is X Badger. He's going to run right down the line of scrimmage, if not like a yard behind it. And we practice this all the time on lines because we got to have this guy behind the line of scrimmage, right? Because we're blocking on the opposite side of the field. And so we don't want a PI call. And I talk to the referees before every game. I say, hey, we run this shallow screen. We bring a guy behind the line of scrimmage and he's catching the ball and these receivers are blocking. And the blocking for the receivers are simple. He's blocking the number one most dangerous. Number two, I tell the backer to block the first backer in the box. First backer in the box. And the O-line is just backpedaling. This H will probably go block the corner or the safety, whoever comes down, because we run a lot of quick screens. We call it the most dangerous man. You just kind of go out here. It doesn't really matter anyway, because we're trying to get this guy. I tell the quarterback, you have to wait until he clears the box. You got to let him get all the way across. And now we're blocking. We're running this screen to a guy running full speed on a shallow screen. And if we look at here we go. We're running this guy on the screen. Let it clear. He almost could have let it go a little bit longer, right? And I'll get to the huddle film better, but we're letting this guy kind of clear the box and we're blocking as the play is going here. And I tell these O-line, just backpedal. If somebody engages you, then block them, right? Don't just let the guy go. If you're backpedaling like a DB and somebody engages you, then just grab onto him. Just grab him. Put two hands in his chest and grab him. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So let's look at some good examples here. So this is the play I think we were just looking at. No, this is a different one. Okay, here we go. It's 1st and 10. We're at the minus 38. We're running it to the X, which is our outside left guy here, and we score 62-yard touchdown. So to me as an offensive coordinator, I want to call this when I know I'm getting a big blitz. I'm getting an all-out blitz. And I knew this team liked to blitz their guys on first down. So they're moving around. And look how many guys they brought. I mean, they brought everybody, and look at all this. Look at this grass that's cleared out for them. The O-line is just backpedaling. Just backpedal. See how they're just backpedaling like DBs? And if someone engages you, grab onto them and keep backpedaling. And then he's clearing out like nobody's business. Tell me you wouldn't want the ball in your best player's hands right there with all that space. And we got blocks going on down here. And he's gone. Maybe he breaks one tackle. Maybe he doesn't even have to.
Offensive line really did a good job getting depth there on their back pedal.
They sure do. And I just tell him, just backpedal, 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 backpedal. Get depth. And the quarterback too. Like he's taking almost like a 7-step drop from the gun, right? So he's got to get back, get back, get back, get back. Wait. Boom. Here's another one. The same guy. Same guy. Okay. 1st and 21. This is Scottsdale Christian. These are what the two-time state champions in a row. Here we go. Look at all that clearing out. Look at that clearing out. We've got this guy going to the first inside backer in the box, blocking number 2, blocking number 1. Let your guy get the ball in space. Maybe break a tackle. And what do you get? It wasn't a 23-yard gain. It was probably, an 18-yard gain on a 1st and 21?
A pretty dang good gain.
Pretty good. Here we go again. I'd like them to go a little bit faster, but there's nobody out here. There's nobody there. So if we look at this pre-snap, he's going to block him. He's going to block him. He's going to take the first backer in the box, which is that guy. Everybody else is going to backpedal, and we run a lot of vertical game, right? So everybody's probably going to drop, especially on a 3rd and 16. Drop back. We got him blocked, and he's got nothing but grass. Look, you like. We just liked running it to this guy. We're backpedaling. If I'm engaged, I'm going to go ahead and hit him. I got all this space. I got a body on a body. So here's now our H is this guy. I know this is a little bit blurry. So it's our slot guy. Now he'll run it. He delayed a little bit there. That's fine. Run it down the line. And we got blocks, right? Look at this space. Get outside. If I don't like him cutting in there, I'd rather him beat the guys outside.
There is a lot
Here's
of
another
grass.
one. So much grass, right? It's about creating grass and space for the guy, your guy with ball in his hand, right? We talked about that earlier. How do you get the ball to your guy? This is a great one. This was like our not our great guy. This is like our second outside guy, like our big possession guy. Well, let's run it to him. We'll run it to the Z. 3rd and 15. Look at that thing just clear out for him. Space. First down. It's a
Really,
great 3rd and long.
Making the concept versatile there, being able to get it to so many different guys.
Right. You could run it to anybody. And of course, we liked running it to our X because that's our guy. But we mixed it up. I think I had one in here. Here's another one to our slot. Our H guy here, he's going to delay. Let it clear out. See how the quarterback did a great job right there waiting for it to clear. Wait for this thing to get to the other side of the box. Because now we got the angles. And look at this. And you remember this guy. Coach, you remember Christian Santabria? He was like the all-time leading two-way receiver. Like, any way we can get the ball in his hands, we want to do it. Okay, here's one. You'll like this. So we're in empty now. We're in empty. And we're going to call this to the F, which is our running back. So we're in triples. So I got trips to the left. Free tells my back, I'm over here. So we're empty, and we'll run F Mustang or F Badger, right? We'll run him on the screen. Now we tell this guy, you got the first backer in the box. Let's run empty and let's run a screen to our freaking best ball carrier, right? Our running back. How nice does that look?
Definitely. A lot of really versatile players you got, Coach. Being able to do a lot of good things with the football. And seems like a system, like you kind of alluded to, a lot of fun for the kids. They get to do a lot of different things, show their skill set. They really got to enjoy that.
They love it. I mean, you got to try and get the ball in everybody's hands, right? You have to find a way to get the ball in all 4 or 5 of your skill guys' hands. Whether it's running the ball, whether it's throwing the ball, you're wasting a position if you're not somehow figuring out how do I get him the ball, right? And so find different ways to get him the ball. That's our shallow screen. All right, you want to look at our snag? Sure, absolutely. This is probably like our staple. Like most clinics I go to that I'm teaching, this is the concept that I'm teaching. Okay, I can't take credit for this. This is another like null Nzone look, but off the base air raid concept, we call this Y corner. Okay, I run it to my H, but traditionally you're in air raid, your Y just stays on the right and you throw it to him, right? You're running the corner route. To me, this is like our bread and butter money play. We run this from, I think, day 2 on. I teach my quick game a little bit earlier, but then once we start teaching this, like we run it nonstop. Okay, so our first read is this corner route. So he's going to 10 yards corner route. I tell my quarterback, he's going to take a 1, 2, 3 drop, 3-step from gun. 1, 2, 3. If there is grass to the corner, throw it. Does that make sense? If there is grass here, throw it. If the corner drops, there's no grass there, right? But if, say, the corner squeezes or he sits, if there is just nothing but grass here, if you go 1, 2, 3, you don't even have to see this guy. 1, 2, 3, if there's grass there, throw the corner out. That's what we want to hit first. Now, if the corner drops, if I go 1, 2, 3, and there's no grass to the corner, now I'm going to hitch and reset, and I'm going to read the number 2 defender between the snag and the shoot. How I teach the snag, okay? And again, I stole this from Nzone. I think he's at Higley right now, isn't he?
I believe so. Well, he was at Higley, and then there was, I don't know, he's bounced around to a few different Valley schools the last few years. He was at Higley when they won the state title. I want to say he ended up at somewhere else this year, but I could be wrong.
I just love the way he taught this route. So I'm going to tell the outside guy to the side, I'm throwing the snag here. He's going to take an angle of departure at 6 yards over the center. So that's his angle of departure. He's never going to get there because as soon as he crosses face with the number 2 defender, he's going to sit and give the quarterback his chest, right? So if this number 2 defender, we're playing a cover 3, he sees this shoot route and he widens to take the shoot. As soon as I cross his face, either over or under, doesn't matter. I'm going to turn and give the quarterback my chest. Make sense?
How deep is he running that, Coach?
He's gonna aim for 6 over the center. That's like he's not gonna push up field. There's no release except for he's gonna go straight at 6 yards over the center. But he's never gonna get there, right? Because as soon as he crosses this number 2 defender, he's gonna sit. And if for whatever reason this number 2 defender blitzes, he just stays on the move. The quarterback's gonna throw it to him on that angle. Does that make sense? Like we're just trying to find the grass right here off of that number 2 defender. If the 2 defender carries this snag, then who's sitting on the shoot? There's nobody to sit on the shoot, right? Because if the corner didn't drop, we're throwing the corner. Now, if the corner sat, we'll go ahead and throw the corner. If he bails and the number 2 defender carries the snag, we've got the shoot route right open. Make sense? Like super easy read.
Yes, sir.
The only thing we'll throw backside, we'll throw this hitch if it's like blitz control, right? Like we got blitz coming off here because we don't have blitz pickup because the back's in a route. And our O-line sliding right here based off our concept. So I have nobody to pick up this blitz if this guy comes. So if the quarterback sees that pre-snap, he can throw this hitch. And sometimes we might say, hey, look at the dig. I might tell the quarterback, hey, when next time I call snag, look at the dig backside. Otherwise, we're probably not getting to this. Like, honestly, we've probably maybe thrown this one time out of the last 3 years. We've thrown the blitz control a couple times, but we've probably thrown the dig maybe once or twice in the 3 years that I've run here at Camp Verde, because we don't need it. We don't need it. Like, this is kind of peripheral. We're looking at, we got a triangle read here between these three. It's 1, 2, 3. If there's grass in the corner, throw it. If not, let's go ahead and hitch up. Let's read the number 2 defender to the snag to the shoot. Any questions there?
Coach, I got a question as a line guy. Do you typically slide the line to the concept?
I do. And I'm giving you a lot more than I expected here, but yeah, I'll give you some pass protection stuff. Yes, I'm going to slide the line to the direction the quarterback's looking first. So if by play design, my quarterback's eyes start to the right, the O-line's going to slide to the right. I do a half slide. And the back typically would be blitz pickup to the man side. So I do half man, half slide to the concept side. So if the concept was to the left, the O-line would slide left, and the back would be blitz pickup to the right. And maybe we could do another clinic on pass pro, but I know Brett Davis is watching this, and I got to play him this year, so I don't want to give him all my pass pro stuff.
You don't have to give us anything else you don't want to, Coach. I was just curious, as a line guy, how you go about sliding that and different things like that. So
my pass pro is super simple. I got a right and a left, and I got like a hot because there's no back in it, and then we go from there.
Well, I'll tell everybody on here right now, we use one protection the whole year, half man, half slide.
That's what I do, and it's either one way or the other, and that's it. Well, we would maybe do a pass pro clinic or something. All right, what do we got here? We got a 3rd and 21. That's not a very good situation here. Okay, so here I call it dual snag side, which means I'm going to look to the right. So the quarterback's looking to the right side. So I should have a snag here, corner here, and then my shoot route coming here. Just what we just looked at on the playbook. Let's go through it slow. Quarterbacks, 1, 2, 3. Do I have grass to the corner? I know he does already because look at where the corner is. And I saw the safety kind of sneak inside. So he's going to throw the corner. I know it already. There it is. Bang. Grass to the corner. Same thing here. So he's going 1, 2, 3. Is there grass to the corner? Holy smokes, right? Look how much grass is over there. Throw the corner. And like, this is a great throw. Like, look at this under pressure right here. Getting hit, but he knows I'm throwing grass to the corner. Look at all this pressure he's getting here. 1, 2, 3. He sees grass right now. He knows he's throwing it. He's getting hit. And to just throw it out to the grass. Let the receiver adjust to the throw, right? That's like that's awesome. A great throw.
Coach, one of the things interesting about it is, you pass the ball extremely well, because I don't think in all my years at Prescott, I don't think we've ever seen a safety, maybe this year a few times, but very rarely have we seen a safety start at 15 yards. So they're a little bit afraid of your pass game stuff.
Well, here's the other
safety at 15 yards, or
right. And here's the other thing that
Coach Collette's going to say, "Hey, prepare to have your nose bloodied."
I love a single high safety. First of all, you can be as deep as you want. You're going to give me one safety, you're going to be in trouble. But I see that a lot, and the reason why is we also run the ball very well. Like that's the misconception about what we do is that I'm an air raid guy. I want to throw the ball, of course, but you have to be able to run the ball too. You have to be able to run the ball to be able to create this to where you have to put another guy in the box, or we'll just run it down your throat all night long. And so you have to make the defensive coordinator pick what do you want? You want me to run it down your throat, or do you want me to throw bombs on you? And when you get really good at it, that's how it should work, right? Ideally, as an OC, that's what you want, which pick your poison. So we do run the ball very well, but you'll get some weird stuff. You'll get a safety at 15 yards. Sometimes you'll get two safeties. Sometimes you'll get three safeties. Different defenses. Like I could show you some film from St. John's in the playoffs where they tried to do like the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they wouldn't get lined up. They wouldn't give you a front. They were all like moving around, which is important.
The amoeba, I call it.
Right. You just have to have rules. As long as you have rules in your offense, I'm a rules guy. Man, is you tell me if this, then that, then we do it. Like we just do the rules. You stick to your rules. It's going to work.
Coach, do you see mostly too high?
I see mostly too high. I've seen a lot more one high at the 2A level here than I have like traditionally. I traditionally see a too high, and teams will make me want to run the ball because I've had really good quarterbacks. But teams and defensive coordinators, they just hate having the ball run on them. They hate having you run the ball on them 3-4 times, 3-4 yards a pop. They hate it, and they can't help.
We have thrown the ball a little bit better very well the last couple of years, so we've seen more two safeties, but previously I don't think we ever saw two safeties. Coach, I've heard a lot of quarterback guys talk about throwing the corner route open. How do you talk to your guys about throwing that route? Yes, sir. Which I love how that's built in from an existing concept there. Yes, sir. Heck of a play. Coach, love it. All really good stuff. Really have enjoyed you coaching us up through these concepts. You guys that have young quarterbacks out there, Black Flag, QB Academy. I believe you can find Coach on Twitter. I think he has a Facebook, all sorts of information. So I would encourage you to get out there and do that stuff, you young quarterbacks that want to see some of this stuff and work on some of these things. Certainly would be a great opportunity for you to get better. And I know I really enjoyed our time together this week, Coach. We'll be getting this out there on the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show and encourage everybody to watch and like and subscribe. Please remember it's absolutely free. And we'll be excited to talk to everybody again next week on another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show. So thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.